9:47 p.m., engine off, headlights off. You're still sitting there. The house is 20 feet away. The people inside love you. The dog is waiting. And you cannot, for reasons you cannot name, open the door yet. Most people call that needing a minute. It isn't. It's older than that. If you're someone who says sorry before you've even finished the sentence, who feels guilty stretching out on the couch on a Sunday afternoon, who knows something is off inside you but can't quite name what, welcome. You're about to feel uncomfortably seen. This isn't a video about trauma the way most people mean the word. It's about the quiet kind. The kind that doesn't leave a scar, just a habit, a pattern, a way of moving through the world you assumed was just how everyone moved. Most people will call you too sensitive, too polite, too anxious, too much in your own head. They'll tell you to chill out, to stop overthinking, to just relax already. As if relaxing were something everyone automatically knows how to do. Here's what they're missing. Those habits, the apologies, the bracing, the over-preparing, the chronic internal forecast, aren't personality flaws. They're not even quirks. They're the residue of something the field of psychology has a very specific, very underused name for. Psychologists call it childhood emotional neglect. And before you flinch at the word neglect, hear me out. Because this isn't about being unloved or unfed or unsafe in the dramatic, made-for-TV way. Dr. Janice Webb, the clinician who put this concept on the map, describes it as the failure to respond consistently and adequately to a child's emotional world. The bills got paid, the birthdays happened, the fridge was full. But nobody asked what was going on inside you. And when that absence is steady enough, early enough, your nervous system starts filling in the gaps, building scaffolding where guidance should have been. Here's the cultural blind spot. We've been trained to recognize trauma as something that happens to you, loud, visible, definable. Emotional neglect is the opposite. It's defined by what didn't happen. The conversation that never started, the question never asked, the hand never offered, the feeling never reflected back. Absence doesn't leave evidence, it leaves shape. And the shape it leaves looks, from the outside, exactly like personality. And here's something that makes this even harder to catch. There is one specific signal that almost every emotionally neglected adult shares, and it has nothing to do with sadness. We'll get to it. But here's the part nobody talks about. The body keeps the receipt. Decades of research on adverse childhood experiences, the AC studies, originally run by the CDC and Kaiser Permanente, have shown that what happens to kids emotionally rewires their stress response well into adulthood. Higher baseline cortisol, faster startle reflexes, a nervous system that defaults to scan the room before settle in. But here's where I'm going to push on something, even if it makes you a little uncomfortable. You probably think you've already done the work. You've read the books, you can name your attachment style at a dinner party. You've made peace with your childhood intellectually. And yet, and this is the kicker, research on implicit memory shows that conscious understanding and bodily learning live in different rooms of the brain. Knowing your mom was emotionally checked out doesn't undo the wiring you built around it. That part operates underneath language. Insight is not the same thing as integration. There's also a fascinating line of work by interpersonal neurobiologist Dr. Dan Siegel on something called contingent communication, the real-time back and forth where a parent notices what a kid feels and reflects it back. When that loop is missing, children don't learn to read their own internal signals. They grow up fluent in everyone else's feelings and weirdly illiterate in their own. And here's something wild from polyvagal research. The vagus nerve, the longest nerve in your body, actually develops its capacity to self-regulate through co-regulation with a calm adult. A nervous system literally borrows another nervous system to learn how to settle. No co-regulation, no developed off switch. You grew up without one, which is why stillness for you doesn't feel like rest. It feels like an alarm with no source. But wait. It gets stranger than that. Here's what's fascinating. The habits this leaves behind don't look like wounds. They look like personality traits. So let's name them. There's the apology reflex. Sorry for asking, sorry for needing, sorry for taking up the seat you literally paid for. Sorry for the volume of your own voice. People around you call it polite. Your nervous system calls it preemptive damage control, a quiet, learned belief that your presence requires a justification at the door. There's the rest guilt. Picture this. It's 4 p.m. on a Saturday. The light's gone soft, the room is quiet, you finally sit down. Within 90 seconds, something inside you twitches. A low static, a voice that says you should be doing laundry, answering that email, optimizing something, anything. Everyone around you calls that ambition. Psychology calls it a worth equation built in childhood. I am useful. Therefore, I exist. Rest threatens the math. And remember that signal I mentioned earlier? The one almost every emotionally neglected adult shares? It's not sadness. It's the inability to answer the question, what are you actually feeling right now? Without defaulting to physical words, tired, heavy, off, weird. That fuzziness where emotional vocabulary should be is the giveaway. Researchers literally have a name for it, alexithymia. Difficulty putting feelings into words, and it correlates with childhood emotional neglect at rates most people would find unsettling. And here's where it gets really interesting. Then there's the over-preparer, the one who rehearses conversations in the shower, who runs the simulation 8 times before a 5-minute phone call, who has a contingency plan for the contingency plan. It looks like anxiety. It is actually a nervous system that grew up in unpredictability and learned very early that anticipation was survival. But there is a 6th habit on this list that almost nobody catches in themselves because it doesn't feel like a wound at all. It feels like virtue. And the next part is what explains why so many emotionally neglected adults end up being the most reliable person everyone they know has on speed dial. Here's where the tone has to shift because this isn't only inconvenient. For some people, these habits aren't background noise. They're a hiding place. Some carry these patterns because somewhere underneath they've decided they don't quite deserve the alternative. That asking for help would confirm something shameful, that naming a feeling out loud would make it real, and real is too heavy to carry right now. For them, self-sufficiency stops being strength and quietly turns into a cage with the door painted to look like a window. They mistake the silence for choosing it. So ask yourself gently, do you handle everything alone because it actually brings you peace? Or because needing someone feels like a risk your body still can't afford? Because one of those answers is independence. The other one is exile. And the difference between them is the whole point of this video. And that 6th habit, the one almost nobody catches, it's emotional hyper-responsibility. The pull to manage everyone else's mood, to read every room, to fix the discomfort before anyone even names it. It looks like empathy. Sometimes it is, but often it's a child who grew up where adult feelings were the weather and they had to be the forecaster. Here is the reframe that matters. Every habit on this list was intelligent. The apologizing, the bracing, the scanning, the silence about your own needs. None of it was malfunction. It was adaptation. You were a kid in an environment that asked you to be smaller, sharper, quieter than you should ever have had to be. And you delivered, beautifully. You're not broken. You were brilliant at surviving a room nobody else noticed was cold. The work now isn't to fix yourself. It's to slowly, carefully prove to your nervous system that the room has changed. One unearned rest, one unrehearsed conversation, one small ask said out loud, one apology you decide not to make. That's how the old rules finally learn they are old. That's not therapy. That's not a 5-step plan. That's just contradicting the evidence in small repeated moments until the body you live in finally believes you.